On his very first day in business, Ron Holt made $130 total for the entire day. He was standing inside a 250 square foot office in Pensacola, Florida, with a mop in one hand and absolutely zero experience cleaning homes. He had never cleaned a house before, not professionally, not even his own. Fast forward to today. That $130 first day turned into over $25 million in annual revenue, 91 locations across the country, nearly 300,000 homes cleaned per year, and an eventual sale of the entire company. All from scrubbing toilets. This is how it happened. This is The Boring Billions, where we break down real business acquisitions with real numbers. Boring businesses, serious money. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deal. Ron Holt grew up in Colquitt, a small town in rural Georgia. He went to the University of Georgia, got a degree in biological sciences, and landed a job as a chemical technician at a company called Micromeritics, where he eventually became a laboratory director. Good job, steady income. The kind of career most people would consider a win. But Ron wanted out. He wanted to build something of his own. The problem was money. So Ron did what most aspiring entrepreneurs talk about, but never actually do. He committed to saving for 7 years straight. He flipped burgers on the side. He cleaned homes for friends. He put up for sale signs for real estate agents. And every single night, he ate fish sticks and rice because it was the cheapest meal he could make. By his late 20s, Ron had saved $150,000, and he knew exactly what industry he wanted to enter. Cleaning. Residential cleaning. The kind of business that Silicon Valley would never chase, because at the end of the day, someone has to scrub a dirty toilet. In April 2003, Ron used his savings to start a cleaning service in Pensacola, Florida. He called it Two Maids A Mop, and he opened shop in a tiny 250 square foot office. That first year was ugly. He cleaned fewer than 100 homes total. Revenue was about $110,000 for the entire year, and Ron was doing everything himself. He was the cleaner, the marketer, the bookkeeper, and the customer service rep. All one person. By year 2, things got worse. He had burned through nearly all of his $150,000 in operating capital. It took 18 months just to turn a profit, and almost 3 full years before Ron paid himself a single paycheck. 3 years of working every day for zero personal income. Then came the moment that almost ended everything. A man walked into Ron's office and offered him $50,000 to buy the brand name Two Maids and a Mop. He didn't want the business. He just wanted the name to start his own cleaning franchise. $50,000. For a guy who'd been eating fish sticks for 7 years and hadn't paid himself in 3, that was life-changing money. Ron seriously considered it, but that night he went home and found a piece of paper he'd written to himself. On it, he had written that Two Maids and a Mop was going to become the largest, fastest-growing cleaning company in America. He turned down the $50,000. 2 things changed the trajectory of the business. The first was something Ron called pay for performance. The idea was simple but radical in the cleaning industry. After every cleaning job, customers rated the service on a scale of 1 to 10. That rating directly determined how much the cleaner got paid. This solved the biggest problem in scaling a cleaning business. Ron couldn't be in every home supervising every employee, but with this system, the customer became the quality control. Cleaners who did great work earned more. Cleaners who didn't. The incentive was built into the structure, not dependent on Ron being physically present. Business improved almost immediately once the system launched. The second advantage was even more unexpected. In 2003, almost nobody in the cleaning industry knew what search engine optimization was. Most local cleaning companies had barely functional websites, if they had one at all. Ron figured out that if he created locally relevant content, he could rank on Google within days, sometimes hours. Nobody was competing for those keywords. He used this strategy to identify cities with the least online presence from cleaning companies and expanded into those markets first. It was a land grab, and Ron was one of the only people who saw it. Ron grew Two Maids and a Mop to 12, company-owned locations generating about $4 million in annual sales. At that point, he realized that if he wanted to scale nationally without drowning in overhead, he needed a franchise. He wasn't entirely sold on the franchising model at first, but he went to a franchising conference to learn more, and during a break, he sat down outside and struck up a conversation with a stranger. That stranger introduced himself as Fred DeLuca, the founder of Subway. At the time, Subway had 42,000 franchise locations worldwide. Fred became a mentor to Ron and taught him one critical lesson. Franchisees will constantly come to you with ideas that make their lives easier, but don't necessarily make the business more money. Don't get bogged down executing every franchisee request. Stay focused on the strategic work that actually drives growth. That advice shaped how Ron built the franchise system. Two Maids and a Mop grew to 91 locations nationwide, cleaning nearly 300,000 homes per year, generating over $25 million in annual network revenue. From $130 on day one to $25 million a year. Cleaning houses. Then came the exit, and it started with a yacht. Ron took a trip to Key West and spotted a beautiful yacht that caught his attention. He did what any curious entrepreneur would do. He went down an internet rabbit hole trying to figure out who owned it. After some digging, he found out the yacht belonged to Home Franchise Concepts, a company that specializes in acquiring home service businesses. Ron wanted to approach them directly to sell, but his business broker wisely told him to take the company to market first. Let multiple buyers compete. Home Franchise Concepts ended up as one of 3 finalists bidding on Two Maids and a Mop. When a competing bidder made Ron an aggressive offer with a ticking clock, Ron went to Home Franchise Concepts and told them he'd rather sell to them because they were more aligned with his values and would treat the company the way he wanted. They acquired Two Maids and a Mop. Ron walked away from the deal and then immediately started his next venture, a moving franchise called Pink Zebra Moving. Because apparently once you've built one boring business empire, you start another one. 2 lessons from Ron's story. First, the willingness to sacrifice is the moat. 7 years of fish sticks and rice. 3 years of no paycheck. Almost selling for $50,000. Most people quit long before any of those points. Ron's real competitive advantage wasn't a business plan, it was stubbornness. Second, systems beat hustle every time. The pay-for-performance model didn't just improve quality, it made Ron irrelevant to the daily operations. That's what allowed him to scale from 1 location to 91. If your business can't run without you, it's a job, not a business. If you want more stories like this, real deals, real numbers, real lessons, subscribe to the Boring Billions. We drop a new breakdown every week. Hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.